Define woke. What is woke?
Wokeness is a leftism coupled with a forced conformity. And we go through this a lot in the book, where the old leftism was also a problem. Let us not joke with that. Leftism was enforced onto children in college. They were indoctrinated into the views of their professors. This was all going on for a while. But the difference with wokeness is that there's a really narrow way that you're allowed to speak about any subject. So when we say woke, it necessarily includes a conformity of thought. And it's not just leftism for the sake of leftism, which again, I'm not a fan of, but it's a rigid way of thinking that does not allow any outside influence or possibility. It's only one way of thinking.
So basically another confused Wokey. Got it. Yo, dude, just leave the road.
I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society. They're open, they're hiring, because I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. Go apply to be on the oil rigs, go be an electrician, go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be. You said
there is nothing better than this. Get those jobs.
Children at a prestigious girls' school who staged a placard-waving protest against a teacher who said, "Good afternoon, girls."
I'm with those girls in that school. They challenged the teacher. She lost the classroom. They wanted the teacher to address them in.
They're at a girls' school, Kevin.
But one of them wasn't identified.
Literally, their parents have said, "We want to send our little girl to a girls' school, which is called a girls' school."
Yeah.
And then when a teacher has the audacity to call them girls, they go nuts.
One of them wasn't identifying as a girl. I just don't see what the big problem is. I genuinely do not see what the problem is.
If you don't, here's what the problem. If you don't identify as a girl, don't go to a bloody girls' school. If anyone can identify as anything they like, then this insanity just goes.
The only few times Piers actually did something good.
Hey, I really wanted to thank you for coming out today, and specifically for talking to those who have different viewpoints than your own. I'm not looking to argue with you. I just want to know about the ideology as to why you think that a woman shouldn't have the right to her own bodily autonomy in regards to abortion.
A woman should have the right to her own bodily autonomy, but not to kill another human. But as far as the idea that I'm like sitting awake at night thinking, how do I control women's bodies? No, not really, not at all, actually. The thing that I do care about is the preservation of human lives. I don't have an argument that pro-choicers are ignoring a premise. That's fine. You're allowed to ignore a premise or think a premise that I'm giving is wrong. It turns out that the vast majority of women for literally all of human existence have engaged in childbearing and rearing, and it has not, in fact, ruined their lives. In fact, married women with children are, by poll data, the happiest women in America.
All right, thank you for the straw man fallacy. Thank you.
It would help if you stayed, dear. Did it catch up with you?
Ben Shapiro just destroyed the students' views on abortion.
I personally don't think that I could have an abortion just because morally I feel like for myself it wouldn't be the right choice. But how do you defend your opinion as a white, well-off, religious man? Like telling a woman what she can do with her body.
Because evil things are still evil, even if I'm a white, well-off religious man. The reason being that the people who were fighting against enslavement of black people were a bunch of well-off white men for the most part. Right? And those people were saying, this is a moral sin. This is a moral blot. They weren't living in the South. They didn't own plantations. They didn't live the lives of the plantation owners. They said, this is evil, and we are here to stop it. Right? When you see something that you think is morally wrong happening, especially when you're talking about the taking of a human life, I'm not a woman in the healthcare field. But you and I can have a conversation about what's right and wrong because this is the nature.
Yes, Ben. Evil is evil.
For some reason, something has happened in your life. Maybe you need therapy. He doesn't think you need therapy. But something has happened that like somebody wrecked you because the way that you view men is so sad.
I do not hate all men at all. I know that there are a lot of good men out there. I think the ones...
But they're not coming for you. The good men aren't coming for you. And so I want you to, in the most loving way, I want you to look at yourself and be like, why are the good men not coming for me?
Yeah, right? Like, what the hell?
You ran your mouth all freaking night.
They're turning on you.
Sat here for 5-6 hours and listened to her.
Hold on, I just don't understand why someone who is single is sitting here talking mostly for 6 hours about relationships
You're
to
right.
women
I
who are
should
happily
take
married.
an exit.
Like, if you're talking about the authority on relationships, wouldn't you ask the people in the room that are happily married?
Facts.
Wait, hold on. She was running her mouth indeed. Woke dudes are broke in all ramifications.
I don't know if they're ever ready to handle the truth when they're confronted like this.
We're going to call the abortion facility and I'm going to tell them I'm pregnant with a 32-week fetus, as you say. Hi, I just turned 32 weeks pregnant. Am I able to come in for an abortion?
On the 23rd, so that will put it 34 weeks.
Can I still have an abortion at 34 weeks?
Yes, ma'am. I just have to do an intake call. Do you have about 5 minutes?
Sure, I have 5 minutes. I can still have the abortion, right? Even though she has Down syndrome?
Yeah, so we just have to do an intake because the doctor...
It doesn't matter. That's abortion in the 8th month of pregnancy. That's discriminatory based on someone's genetic code. She just confirmed she would commit an abortion on me with my child who's viable and can live outside the womb.
Of course, the time you actually confront these wokies, they have nothing to say.
Everyone now associates Just Stop Oil with just a bunch of morons wrecking people's lives.
That's what people like you call them. I would actually call them heroes because...
What's heroic about running on a cricket pitch and chucking orange paint around? Why don't you go to China and Russia and pull these stunts there? Why is it only the safe places like the UK that Just Stop Oil chuck this stuff around at major sporting events and things that people love? Let me tell you why. Because there's a moral cowardice at the heart of what you do. It's a bit like Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, you never see her in Beijing ranting away about the Chinese government. Even though the worst polluters in the world are the Chinese. So the people causing the real damage on pollution, none of your protesters have the gumption or the moral guts to go and wreck the lives of those people in those countries, because you know what would happen. You're picking on the easy places who are doing the most to try and combat it. And in the process, you piss off the entire...
These dudes are cowards.
Do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice.
No one has a right to go to anybody else's country. You are invited. It is a privilege, not a right, to come into America.
So it's a privilege to live a life that requires you to have clean water, clean food, clean air.
Yes, of course it is.
And you have to fight for that, but we didn't.
My ancestors did fight for that, actually, and I'm a very thankful recipient of many generations of Americans that fought for the greatest nation ever to exist.
By doing what? Coming here?
Well,
illegally? So because my grandpa didn't come here in
II.
1620, it gives him no right to have a good life?
No, he can fill out paperwork and wait in line, like the rest of the world.
Are these guys seeing life from a logical view at all?
I have a friend who has a trans kid. He's explained that, my child from a very young age consistently said, I am a girl, never changed their mind. And so the humane thing and the thing that he felt was good to do as a parent was to embrace that choice. I shouldn't even phrase it as a choice, like embrace that identity.
But it is a choice, right? You're choosing to add hormones to a child's body.
It's a choice on the it's a choice on the part of the parent.
Okay, but if that's who they are, if they think that they're a girl, why do you have to give them hormones to make them more of a girl?
Because I'm sorry. Can you expand on the question?
It's a simple question. If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Why are you adding hormones? You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice.
Listen to this guy. Is he making any sense from this story?
So, Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying? No, I don't love censorship. I believe in moderation. Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship. Look, if something's illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors. You're putting your thumb on the scale for moderating hate speech. I mean, you don't put out child pornography. It's illegal. Some people would say that's considered censorship. I'm just saying. I literally said, if something is legal, okay, we will obviously remove it. Okay. We, I guess, have a disagreement because I do not believe in censorship that goes beyond the law, and you do. So you don't consider that hate speech? I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying. We don't agree on this. Yes, you want censorship and I don't. No, I don't want censorship at all. Yes, you do. No, I want responsibility. You desperately want censorship? No, if I want a censorship... You want censorship so bad you can taste it. No, that's not true. And I'm against censorship. I'm in favor of freedom of speech. Yeah. And freedom of speech only is relevant when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning.
I think we have lost Don. This guy is so controversial and illogical.
What are you? I'm a cisgendered man.
What does cis mean?
So that means if you were born a woman and therefore you still identify as a woman, so you're a cisgendered woman, I would say.
And that's because of my physical femaleness.
You identify with how you...
What am I?
Well, I assume you're a cisgendered.
I'm not a
man,
cis anything,
if
mate.
I may assume.
I'm not a cis anything. I'm just a man.
Well, no, but you're a cisgendered man.
No, I'm not a cisgendered anything.
But hang on.
What does cis mean?
Well, that means that you were born the way that you identify
No,
now.
I'm just born a man.
But someone who transitions.
Why are you
to be a
insisting
man.
on calling me something I'm not?
Well, you can refer to yourself as just a man if you like, but
Most people identify as male or female, man or woman.
that's right. The vast majority of people. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other people who identify differently.
There are
lots
100
of
different
other identities.
genders on this BB.
It keeps getting worse. This is giving voice to the wrong audience.
I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay? When you're going out and attacking women, you are not a feminist. This is not defensible whatsoever. And you sit here and you say this I'm sorry, because what? you care about mothers. The basis of this is that people are upset that illegal immigrants are being separated from their mothers. Why don't you refocus some of that energy to the Black community? They've been having their families separated. In fact, it's subsidized in the Black community. You appreciate single motherhood. You are giving more money to families for fatherless absence. So all of this selective fake outrage when you guys do not have the same defenses for the Black community is really lost on me. And it's time's up on this altogether. I think the Black community has had enough of you guys being selectively outraged for parents of illegal immigrants, but not for the parents of the Black community who have been separated from their family for about 6 decades.
All right, and ladies, I just want to point out, ladies, I just want to point out, let's keep this.
I was really lost too. You want to keep it civil.
Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots? No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them. Okay, but there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Elon has a way of obliterating Don. Does he regret inviting him for the interview?
Imagine being trans and trying to go get your medication.
I can't imagine.
And I literally walk up there, the lady on the phone is like, oh, can I have your last name? And so I give it to her. She's like, oh, okay, I'll meet you out there and I'll give you your prescription, right? So I'm waiting and she comes out and then she says, oh, is this for? And then she says my dead name. No! And I'm like, my name is Rylan.
Sir, I've made a terrible mistake.
And she just looks at me. And then she puts the medication on the table and shuts the door and locks it behind her.
This conversation is over.
I am sorry, sir. I've made a terrible mistake. Lowell, it's over.
Men are providers, so go do that job. Go learn a trade. Go do something.
Well, you said that that's all they're good for.
Yeah.
And what are you good for?
A lot of things.
Like?
I'm funny. I'm smart.
You haven't demonstrated that yet.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I'm a musician. I dance.
You dance?
The list goes on and on.
What a great quality. You can dance. What do you bring to the table, though?
What do I bring to the table?
Yeah.
I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm attractive. I have talent.
I don't know if men are so useless that their only job is to be providing for you. It sounds like you're just a typified eater. Like, I don't know what you're really bringing to the table. You're just kind of consuming resources, right?
I mean, if you want to hear the answer that I could be domesticated and I can cook and clean and do all that, I can.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is what value are you bringing to society?
By being me.
By being you. I'm enough.
I am enough.
So basically, she said, I'm arrogant, I'm useless, I'm entitled, I'm boring.
How many genders are there?
2.
And they are?
Male, female.
But what about someone's right to tell you what their gender is?
No problem at all. So it's you. You're going to tell me what your gender is, but in the world is less world. I don't have to believe it, but I'm thrilled for you. You're a lampshade. I'm so happy. Let me put a light bulb up your arse. Brilliant. Don't require me to think what you think.
Indeed, a lampshade. The fact there is such a question in the first place is hilarious.
First of all, it's not a baby, it's a fetus.
What does fetus mean?
A fetus is in utero.
What does fetus mean in Latin?
What the
It means little human being.
The smile is creepy. Okay.
Smiling is creepy.
No, your smile specifically.
Got it.
But let's go back to we're losing.
Or we need to gain your knowledge.
What is a woman is not a clickbaity title.
I think it is.
What is a woman?
I'm not trying to answer that. I'm trying to stay. I'm
actually now incredibly curious. What is a woman? It's a very simple question.
Well, I could see how this would get clickbaited, so I'm just trying to stay very bipartisan. Why do you go on this campaign? Your critics are saying that you're trying to keep people divided. They're urging people not to come talk to you because you're going to spin it. What would you like to say to like your critics?
They're welcome to come to the microphone and say whatever they want to me, but they're intellectual cowards and they won't do that. You know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
I would agree with that.
We will get closer to a civil war if we act like that. We just yell at people we don't like. You dress with, with masks on and just with stupid epitaphs. Okay, like that's how you get closer to dividing the country. You heal the country when you allow disagreement and you allow a microphone.
And no one has defined a woman as an intellectual coward.
We are paying you to teach history, and that's what you need to be teaching. I'm teaching my son to grow up to be a man, and I don't want you hanging a flag, hanging a flag up for you to sit up there and teach them the type of stuff I'm trying to keep them away.
Very brave mother, I suppose.
So you said if they kill the company, it's them. But doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean, you're
Don, I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so
is this the question you want to ask?
The same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you?
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money...
No bank of knowledge. YouTube made a woke person. Do some research, bro.
If Putin comes here in August as planned, your government will be obliged to arrest him.
We will want President Putin to be here even tomorrow, to come to our country.
You would welcome Vladimir Putin here right now?
Of course, we will welcome.
A man who is being investigated for war crimes by the International
We will welcome
Criminal Court.
him to come here as part and parcel of BRICS, but we know that we are constrained by the ICC. Putin is a head of state. Do you think that a head of state can just be arrested anywhere? How many crimes have your country committed in Iraq? How many?
What is this guy insinuating? Thank God this dude got some boldness.
They've written the idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. They haven't had a great time, though, have they?
Who has had a great time in history?
But men have had less of a...
Really? Have they? Have they? By what standard? By what standard?
Well, I'm just saying if you're a woman...
How about war?
But it took longer for women to get the vote, and women belong to their husbands.
There are inequalities in the catastrophes that the genders are subject to. And so, look, first of all, there's some things we got to get straight. History's a rough business. Everybody had it rough. In 1895, the typical Westerner lived on less than $1 a day, which is absolute poverty by today's standards. And so people were brutally poor for almost the entire course of human history. It was rough. You say, well, did men or women have it worse? It's like, well, that's a complicated question. But one of the things you can say is everybody had it pretty.
By what percentage, dude? We need to get things straight here.
Wait a second. What did he just say?
What did you call us? Repeat it for Douglas.
Says you were both. I can't remember, to be honest with
you. Cis-white.
I think you said. Okay, why don't you shut up for a moment?
Straight
I think you said.
Well, Douglas isn't
I think
straight.
you said that we're
Douglas?
both. I think you said we're both cis white straight men. First of all, I am white. Secondly, I am a man. Thirdly, I've been out and gay my entire adult life, which is about 25 years now. I don't know how old you are,
but I
was out as gay when you were still prancing around talking about whether or not you were. No, if I were you, I would do the tiniest bit of research before opening your mouth. You're embarrassing yourself. That's probably why people wouldn't want to come to your show.
All right, embarrassing yourself.
Gentlemen,
shame to the queer.
You know what? I tell you who's really embarrassing.
I'm not a member of the queer community, you
hard.
stupid sod.
I tell you,
I'm not a member of the queer community.
The person who ultimately
Douglas and Morgan always on point to bring these wokeness to ruins.
I would like to know how you can say that they have no ancestral claim to this land, and that as a white person, you can say that they cannot migrate freely and cannot use the land freely that they rightfully own and have for thousands of years.
Well, Mike, I'd like you to be more specific. Which people specifically and which land specifically? Because there were lots of different peoples in the northern and southern, in North America and South America at the arrival of Christopher Columbus. So which people do you think have a claim to which land?
Talking about the Native Americans.
So there were many different Native American tribes.
Would you like me to name all the tribes?
Yes, and I'd like you to name, and the reason I would like you to name all the tribes is because there were many tribes who conquered many other tribes. So just as an example, the Comanche Indians come in and they conquer areas run by the Apache Indians. Now the United States comes in and it owns that land. To which tribe should...
Facts. Facts is important before you jump on any topic. Do not base things on how you feel. It is rootless.
Can you point me to any single country that has restricted freedom of speech that has done better?
I simply ask you for the source.
Okay.
Can you give me the source
Nazi
on that?
Germany, Soviet Russia, Castro, Che Guevara regimes, current UK, Canada, Maoist China. Need I go on?
Absolutely. You said every country.
Every single country that has limited freedom of speech has resulted in a net loss.
Please give me an actual citation to back up your claim.
You would say that Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Maoist China, Che Guevara, Castro regimes, and I can't go through every single country.
I'm just asking you to give me a scholarly source that says that.
I don't have a scholarly source with me right now saying that Nazi Germany is worse off with speech laws than the United States.
And so what I said
You're just going to have to take my word for it.
And exactly what I said was there are plenty of examples where it doesn't work. You're absolutely right. I don't disagree with that at all.
Can you point me to any example where it has?
Eventually, we can possibly get to the point where it can work. And we need to keep trying. That doesn't mean because it hasn't worked, we don't give up.
One country that has better net results for human freedom and human rights by restricting speech. What's your source? One.
I'm honestly going to say we're not there yet.
Thank you so much. Hopefully.
Another woke person not having facts. Why do these woke people come out without facts?
What do you think socialism is? Because I think you're misunderstood.
Socialism is what I see, which is the implementation of totalitarian control on the means of the best interest of people under the guise of the failed doctrine of Marx and Engels.
That's wrong.
Just because you say it wrong doesn't make you right.
Just because you say I'm wrong doesn't make you right.
No, it actually does, because everywhere socialism has been implemented, you've seen catastrophic human deaths.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know what socialism is.
Well, what makes you a subject matter expert on the 100 million people that have died?
Are you a subject matter expert on that?
I actually am.
Are you?
Yes.
Do you have a degree in it?
Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you know more than other people.
Do you do research on it?
Plenty,
more than you.
Stifler, he does ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would give myself a 10 out of 10. I went through a lot of therapy to get myself to where I feel like I'm a 10 out of 10. So I'm gonna remove myself from this conversation because I'm not gonna let a podcast undo years of therapy. Thank you.
I'm a little confused.
I had a lot of issues with self-esteem, and I worked through them a lot in therapy. And like part of that is like seeing myself a 10 out of 10. So I'm gonna keep that delusion for me. Thanks.
So just to be clear, if you were to engage in this conversation and on this podcast, it would totally be catastrophic to years and years of therapy.
Like to me, I think I'm a 10 out of 10, and that's all I need to say about that.
If therapy is actually effective, how would having a conversation undo years and years of therapy?
Didn't I tell you I don't want to talk about this because of my mental health? Like I'm going to draw a boundary here and move on.
How does that stop your self-esteem?
We do need men, though. We do.
We don't need them.
We do.
No, because they're lesbians.
Who do you call to get your car fixed? A man or a woman? Your toilet breaks down. Who do you call?
So I fix my own car. I can do. I'm motor mechanics.
Your power supply. Who runs it? Who runs the infrastructure of society? Men or women?
Oh, at the moment, men. Obviously, because of patriarchy. Because of patriarchy.
Oh no.
Finally, someone who actually gets it.
Again, I ask, why are these people so aggressive? Why are they always trying to hit people?
Get the f out of my face now!
Oh, that was very rude of you.
Get the f out of my face!
Do you want to go to jail, sir, ma'am? I don't really know what to call you.
You're done, man.
I'm done.
Police, you just insulted me.
Well, listen here, pal. I mean, you are gonna go to jail.
And I could tell the police to get you.
I'm vegan, so don't say that. Listen.
You told me, He-Man, you really get the out of my way right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
You do not have a release. I will sue you.
You're gonna sue him? Don't sue him, man, because we're trying to just.
You do not have a release. If you post this, I will destroy you. I will destroy you.
Keep going on. I got my crew with me now. I got my crew. Yeah! Yeah! What's up? Woo! Who won? Who's next?
Make sure you leave a like on this video if you haven't yet. Subscribe or follow it up.
It is because they do not have facts to back up their claims. You just have to shout and shout.
I am so tired of talking about woke culture because one of the tenets of wokeness is, of course, that your feelings matter more than the truth. And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims. We are told that your generation cares more than any other about one issue in particular, and that issue is climate change. I will join you in worshipping at the feet of St. Greta of climate change. This country is responsible for 2% of global carbon emissions, which means that if Britain was to sink into the sea right now, it would make absolutely no difference to the issue of climate change. You know why? Because the future of the climate is going to be decided in Asia and in Latin America by poor people who couldn't give a shit about saving the planet. A third of all children who live in extreme poverty in the world live in India.
Kaisen, I am not tired. I would keep speaking till this wokeness delusion eroded.
I have a master's degree because when I got certified, I was told I had to have a master's degree to be an Arizona certified teacher. Are we allowing the parents to choose the curriculum and the books that our children are going to read? The purpose of public education is not to teach only what parents want their children to be taught. It is to teach them what society needs them to be taught.
There's more than 100 years of Supreme Court precedent telling us that we have the distinct privilege and responsibility of directing the health, education, and upbringing of our children. You don't have that responsibility. Regardless of what you think about the importance of public education, the power ultimately lies in the hands of the parents who not only pay for what you do in the classroom, but whose children you instruct during a finite period of the day. If we're going to talk about responsibility and ownership, maybe you should take a look.
The parents have a right to know what the curriculum is, and that it will teach their children how to read, write, and do math. Period.
Telling kids there are 100 genders. I'm now reading out a number of these 100 genders. A, you've never heard of them. B, you've no idea what they are. But C, you want to encourage the BBC to instruct our kids that they should be one of these genders.
But that isn't the point. The fact is...
That is the point. So far, I've picked 3, then you have no idea what they are. Do you know what New Troyes is?
Tell me.
Well, have a stab.
Well, okay, I don't know.
Imagine you're a 9-year-old kid and the BBC's told you to be one of these. So what's New Troyes? Can I, under this new world of self-identification, as I did earlier, now identify as a two-spirit New Troyes penguin?
Well, you're not a penguin, because to use a bit of common sense.
Why? Who says I'm not?
Well, I mean, that's not a thing that happens. Why? This is the distinction. People do identify.
I'm actually a two-spirit New Troyes pangender penguin. And how dare you?
People don't
How dare you tell me I can't identify as that?
You know the world has gone to crap when Piers Morgan is the fighting voice of reason. Well, you are indeed determined to see wokeness eroded, just as I do. You made it thus far. Karma isn't any bitch and would catch up with these delusional individuals. You heard that right. The end is coming soon. Meanwhile, ensure you like and subscribe. The engine just got rolling.